Hey YouTube, I told you I wanted to go through, and a lot of people asked me to do this actually, to go through and show you the basic operation of the Dillon 550b and how you adjust your dies. This is the 550b without the tool head and dies in it. So let's go through it. We'll start from the perspective of using a quick change tool head. Which really makes it easy and simple. You don't really need to do it this way, but the principles are all the same. And what this essentially does is it comes in a box with basically a setup like this, where you have your powder dispenser here, you have your tool head, your dies, and it's a quick swap. So this is set up for 45 ACP. Once this is all set up, everything's adjusted, you just swap it back into the machine, and it's just trivial. You're back in operation like that. So let's not get distracted with that. Let's just go through now what this looks like to set it up. So you order this stuff. I would order it. My personal favorite place to order from is bryanenos.com. Really good to deal with. And you order, in this case, let's see if we can get this on camera. For instance, quick 550 quick change. Okay. So we open it up, and of course you need like a really expensive tactical knife to do this. No, you don't. You get some labels to put on your powder funnels. Open this up. We're going to do this video in parts too. So first you get a stand. That's good. Stand right here. Then you get a large powder bar. Okay, we're going to put this aside because we're going to use a small powder bar. So this is a large one. You wind up getting a large one as well, which is good. We just put it away. All the other ones in case I need them. The tool head. So this is where this fits in the machine like that, and then your dies go in here. Okay, station 1 right here is going to be your resizing die, depriming and priming, belling, powder, seating die, and crimp. Okay, very handy. Really excellent setup. And then you get your powder measure, which is right here. Call it a powder funnel, powder measure. And here's a small powder bar right here. Okay. And it's got some instructions in it right here. But I'm going to help you with your instructions. Alright, so here's the 550B, and what we're going to concentrate on is this part of the machine right here. Okay. Now what we have here is a shell plate, and then basically all this together would be called a caliber conversion kit, and it comes with locator buttons. In this case it's already set up for 9mm, we're changing to 40. Okay, and take those off. It comes with an indexing star, this silvery thing here, okay, and a little wire, guide wire here to guide your shell when you're putting it in there. But we need to change this now so it's set up for 40 Smith & Wesson. Okay, so what you have to get is, in this case, a caliber conversion kit. Remember, 10mm and 40 Smith & Wesson are the same size bullet. They're different cases though. Okay, so you get a caliber conversion kit from Dillon. You can order through bryanenos.com, and we're going to take off that 9mm conversion kit and install the conversion kit, in our case for 40 Smith & Wesson. It's the same thing. You can use it for 10mm too, so if you're really into 10mm, it's fine. Now the way this works is you have your operating handle. You have to, first of all, pull up your operating handle, and I hope you can see it on camera. Excuse my arm. Yeah, you can. There's a set screw right here. Okay, it needs to come off. What the set screw does is it prevents the shell plate from loosening up by preventing this screw here from loosening up. Okay. So we're just going to go ahead and remove that small Allen key. Whoops. There we go. Just oh, it's the next one up. Sorry. Find an Allen key that fits. Stick it in there. You don't have to horse this thing down at all. In fact, don't. You know, just don't be, you know, farmer tight. Just tight. Okay. We take that out. Now this set screw right here, you can see, has a little brass tip on the end of it, right? And that binds the shaft of this other screw to prevent this whole assembly from loosening up as you're indexing. Okay. Go ahead, put it down, and we just go ahead and loose. This should be actually already loose. You can start to unscrew this. Screw right here. It binds a little bit, so you might need your Allen. Go ahead and take it out. The easiest way to do that is to hold down the shell plate, and I'll show you why. So there's no there's no binding. Okay, we go ahead, take this screw out. Okay. Also inspect things to make sure there's no rust. You know, my setup's in an old basement. My house is 120 years old, and so it can be a little damp down here. You got to control your humidity, right? Put this aside. Take off your indexing star. Put it aside. Take off the shell plate. Okay, and put it aside. Okay, now if you look at your platform, you can see right here there's let me get this on camera. Right here is a ball. Looks like a big ball bearing. In fact, it is a big ball bearing. Okay. It's a bit of a bitch to get out of there. But anyway, this sits on top of a spring, and it goes up and down. We won't take it out right now, but it can come right out. The easiest way to take it out that I found is to just get yourself a little bit of good old Scotch tape, not real sticky. Stick it on the ball. Presto changeo, you have your balls out. Okay, and there's a spring in here too. Right? So this ball rides on top of the spring in the base plate, and that key allows you to index. Okay, so it clicks. There's a audible and a palpable click. Okay, so the way you set this is just put in your spring, put in your ball. Okay. Now I want to say something also. Reloading, you got to be paying attention to cleanliness, believe it or not. Not your personal hygiene, but your reloading hygiene. You'll get a lot of crap, especially from the spent primers that will burnt carbon come through. So what you want to do is get your old friend, your air compressor, and just gently, don't have it up to 1,000,000 psi. Just blow that off. Make sure there's no shit in there. No particles, because what will happen is a particle will eventually wind up in your priming station, and you either won't get a good seated primer, or you will actually wind up denting your primer if it gets underneath the primer when you're trying to seat it. Okay. So there we go, indexing ball inside of the base plate. We open up our caliber conversion kit. Here it is. We just showed you that. Inside the caliber conversion kit is a powder funnel right here. Zoom in. Pretty hard to zoom in like this, but anyway, powder funnel. And what this does is sits inside the powder measure. This goes down into your case and actually will also bell the mouth of your case. So there's that. There's your shell plate right here. This one's for 40. Okay. And then I'm not going to take them out right now, but 3 locator buttons, and I'll show you where they go. Okay. All right. So all you have to do is take your shell plate, and you'll see it has 4 stations where your shells would go. You put it in here, and then you have 4 holes too. The ball, this ball, rides underneath those holes. Okay, this is a number 5 shell plate for 40 Smith & Wesson. So what you do is take this, put it into position. It has to be underneath this wire. Okay, yeah. And all we're going to do is kind of push that down onto the ball. You see how it's flexing there? Okay. We hold it down with our finger, like so, and we put our indexing star on top of it. Okay. I think it's actually called an indexing sprocket. There's only one way it can go. There's the 4. Oops, sorry. There's 4. Things sticking out of it that ride inside that shell plate. So you just nice and easy, just put the indexing sprocket on top, hold the whole assembly down a bit. Okay, line it up like so. Take your screw for your shell plate, put it back in. And this is how you adjust the shell plate. So it's very simple. Hold everything down. Okay, you want to defeat the pressure of that spring. So just hand. This is going to be all hand tight. Just tighten it down by hand until you can't tighten it anymore. Now, if I do that, it's kind of hard to index this. You know, it doesn't index. So all you want to do is just back it off a tiny bit, until it moves freely. It's not quite a tiny bit enough. Okay? That's pretty good right there. Now when you're doing this, you'll immediately realize why there's a set screw, because this thing will tighten up on you. So that's it. That's how you change your shell plate. Now all you have to do is we zoom out, we get our set screw again, put on the end of our Allen key, and there's a hole in that shaft. We just make sure you don't cross thread things, so nice and easy. Clockwise, tighten it, and again, doesn't need to be farmer tight at all. Just press on your Allen key. Okay, a little bit like that. That's it. Doesn't have to be any tighter than that. Okay, that's what you want. Changing a shell plate in a Dillon 550b.